All right, we are here. Sorry we're a couple minutes late. Last week we were on time. This week late. So beggars can't be choosers is I think what the phrase is, like what the kids are saying these days. So I already know TJ's going to be late. It was literally Harlan's fault. Look at Brad. Look at Brad starting us out like that. We haven't even started.
Touchdown, Florida State. Touchdown, FSU.
Brad's coming out hot. Listen, how about the guy the other day that was doing the super chats like to get people kicked out? If you super chat into the triple digits, you can kick people out of the chat. That's the new rule. So, all right, we got a lot to talk about today. A lot of conference realignment stuff, a lot of recruiting stuff with KJ announcing tomorrow. Some smoke around some other things, and then whatever questions you guys have. Listen, we also have an option. If you guys want to come in and join the show, we have an option for that. Brad, thank you for the love. You're number one up on the donation board today. The James B, if you're in here from the other day, if you want to show Brad who's boss. Brad was talking some smack about you, James. Don't let him do that. Don't let him do that. Listen, I still got my sticker on that my daughter gave me this morning. That's beautiful. Right in front of the Argentina thing. So, all right, conference realignment, a lot of recruiting stuff. We'll let some people get in here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, super chat, PayPal, Venmo, whatever is easiest for you. The show does get a little bit more of a percentage if you do use the PayPal or Venmo options, but super chat works as well. Whatever you guys want to do. We've got KJ updates. I've got a little more insight on the KJ situation that we'll talk about here in just a minute. So Florida State's got some private equity stuff rolling. I spoke with some folks yesterday at FSU who shared some insight. I know that Florida State's been involved in some meetings here recently. Conference realignment's going nuts with the Pac-12, the Big Ten, a lot of different things. Venmo options. So again, Venmo down into the how much for a total ban? Oh boy. I think a total ban might have to be like a war chant level 500, like a 500 might have to like, but it can't go through here. It's got to be a war chant level one, like going to Venmo or PayPal. Venmo or PayPal, it's at double fries. It's down there on the bottom, just double fries for both of them. Good Lord, a total ban. Y'all are ruthless. Let some more people get in here. Let these numbers get up a little bit, and we will talk about KJ. Got a little bit of insight on KJ this morning. We've had some a lot of conflicting reports. This is the first, one of the more recent things that we've seen where there's a lot of confidence around a lot of different programs. So want to chat about why that is. Want to share kind of what we're hearing. We've definitely shared some things in the Discord. If you're not part of that, we would encourage you to sign up. The Discord is free. There are some exclusive channels that are like $3 a month. So you don't have to be a big baller to get in and get that info. But man, I'm excited for where we're going with conference realignment. We're trying to kick. Novell's currently on a timeout though, so it's cool that he just has to watch our tweets. Sounds like we're screwed there. What are we? I don't think we're screwed, but I think we're in good shape on a lot of fronts. So, all right, let's get after it. What do you guys want to talk about first? KJ or conference realignment? Hit the comments and let me know. Hit the super chat, hit the Venmo, hit the PayPal if you have things that need to be said and put on screen. We'll certainly get to those as well. But I don't think we want to talk about KJ first. Everybody says KJ. Nobody wants to talk about leaving the ACC. If you could only pick one. Okay, here's a good question. All right, yeah, all KJ first. I got you. If you want to join the show, there is a link to it. You can call in at any point, and you're welcome to join. But if you could only, here's a good question for you guys. I don't know if you guys are going to like this question or not. But if you could only pick between KJ Bolden or leaving to go to the Big Ten or the SEC, what would you pick? Because I really want KJ But if you could only pick one of those two, it's got to be like leaving. Like I tell you, we are in the SEC in 2024, or you get KJ Bolden. You're taking the SEC, right? Or a Big Ten, SEC, whatever you want. Right? I think that's the case. I think that's what you're doing. But it's leaving, right? Like, I really want KJ tomorrow. But you wouldn't take KJ over one recruit. Certainly not. Harlan said my mic sounded a little scratchier than normal. Let me play with the setting real quick. I don't know. Is this better, Harlan? Worse? Better? Harlan says better. You guys think the mic just got better or not? I just play with a setting. Okay. All right, so we want to talk about KJ first, but we definitely want out of the ACC more. So what we want to talk about is not Jeff. I give Jeff a little love just because Jeff hit that. I think Jeff hit the super chat not too long ago. But we want to talk about KJ more, but we want to get out of the conference more. So little mixed signals here, but I appreciate you guys for at least talking with us. Yeah, we would not take one recruit over leaving. So, all right, let's get into it. Let's jump on. Let's talk KJ, and then we got a caller that's going to come on and chat with us a little bit. Jamie, I see you there in the background. We'll get you on here in just a sec, Jamie. Thank you for calling in. But let's talk about KJ. All right, so a lot of confidence in a lot of different places with KJ Bolden right now. And I think that is really, really interesting. And I think the biggest reason is KJ's just not telling anyone. KJ's not telling anyone. Uh-oh, Karen says she hit the. Look at. All right. We've got a battle going on.
Fire up the war chant and plant the spear. Noles win.
Yeah, Karen's wine bottle just took the lead, and that is our new one. So welcome, Karen's wine bottle. FSU Jeff hitting us too. Jeff's just a little guy here, but Jeff's in here as well. It's Noles 407 with the big one. All right, little one there, and then we'll go back to KJ. Oh, Jeff hopped out. Or not Jeff. You play a little one, Harlan? A little baby one.
You a recruit and you ain't going to Florida State. What you doing?
JP Morgan money is coming. All right, we'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so a lot of people with a lot of confidence on KJ. And so you see insiders at Auburn, you see insiders at Ohio State, you see insiders at Georgia that I don't know if they're just so bullish on their own team's chances, but what they're reporting is it's UGA until it's not, or it's Auburn until it's not. And I think the big sentiment is they truly have no clue. And so what they were told last is that KJ was going to UGA, or they haven't heard that it's not Auburn, and so they assume that it's Auburn. The people that I've chatted with, I've probably spoken with 3 different people, all very unconnected. Why we got that ACC guy on there? Unless I'm just missing it. Harlan. I've spoken with 3 different people, and we'll get to Jeff's super chat in just a minute, who are very well connected at a couple of different levels on this. We're not going to talk about where any of them are from. Sorry. Maybe after he commits somewhere, we'll talk about where the confidence came from. But I've chatted with 3 people that are very, very confident in where Florida State sits on this. And there's a reason that the folks around Florida State, Roy just took the lead. Let's get Roy up here in just a minute. Roy, comment below and let me know which one you are so I can put you up on the screen. Any comments that you got for the rest of the day. There's Jeff.
Put a smile on your face. Okay? Because Florida State, if we going to do it then, we do it big. Let's go, baby.
Thank you, Jeff. And Cowboys. Let's get Cowboys up here. Broke wins too. Don't worry about that. I don't know who Roy is, but Roy, whoever you are, let me know so I can give you some love on here. Oh, Brad. Oh yeah, Brad just took the lead. Yeah, Brad's our leader. Brad just did a triple digits, so Brad wins. Got a big one for Brad.
Touchdown, Florida State! Touchdown, FSU!
Brad with the big winner. All right. The people that I've chatted with are very confident in Florida State. One of the biggest reasons is because people have talked about it with the sources that I'm close with. Somebody asked, could NIL play a factor here? I do think that NIL is going to play a factor here, and I do think that there's a narrative around Florida State that Florida State's NIL is just no good, that Florida State's NIL can't keep up, that Florida State's NIL can't be there with UGA and can't be there with Auburn. I think you're going to find out tomorrow that is not the case. I have not said this in the pour chats on Discord. Sorry for the pours. But I'm very confident in FSU. Could things change? Could you have a last-minute change of heart by KJ, by folks that are close to the situation that do believe that that's where he's going? Absolutely. But I really like where FSU sits right now. I've spoken with multiple people that are close to the recruitment, and I like where FSU sits. Georgia likes where they sit too. Auburn likes where they sit. They're not, their insiders aren't saying why. They're pretty much just saying, hey, the last thing we heard 3 weeks ago was that we were in a good spot. And I don't know that that's a great situation for them. I think there's more to the story. I think you're going to find out more to the story tomorrow. We will go live at 6 p.m. to live react to his announcement. So join us tomorrow. Make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure that you have notifications on because we will go live. If it's not Florida State, I'll sit on here and eat lots of crow. But we will go live when it happens. I will tell you this. I love how KJ's playing it. I love how he's keeping it close to the vest. I think it's awesome that there's so much confidence everywhere. I'm just telling you, I think there's a reason that the Noles are confident. And there's a reason why folks like Simone and Zach Blostein and Michael Langston and those that cover FSU are confident in spite of the confidence at other places around the country. I think it makes sense for a Georgia guy to be confident. It's always been Georgia. It's always been UGA out in front. And so I don't think that that's crazy. I think that there's a reason that FSU is confident, and you'll find that reason out tomorrow at about 6:30. Okay, we got to check up on some super chats. Jeff, let's give Jeff some lovey.
You ain't going to Florida State. What you doing?
Okay, Jeff, but for real, 30 minutes ago, we'll talk about that with JP Morgan Chase, private equity coming here soon. Also, James Ward, appreciate you.
Fire up the war chant and plant the spear. Noles win.
Fazette, my guy, Zach. Forzette. Sorry, that always throws me off that we're reading there. He did do his as well. It came through. It came through. I just got the email on it. Listen, nobody's beating Roy. Brad's got a bunch of different names. Well, y'all might beat him, but you got a ways to go if you want to beat Brad. But
okay, because Florida State, if we gonna do it then, we do it big then. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's beating Brad today, and then Jeff with one more.
Touchdown, Florida State. Touchdown, FSU.
Okay. Somebody asked about Wilt Fong. We'll talk about his crystal ball in just a moment. Let's get Jamie in here. Jamie, can you hear me? Harlan, if you can go to the main scene with callers. Let's get Jamie in. Let's get him on stage. Let's chat. Jamie, can you hear me? Jamie, you're on mute. Jamie might have logged out real quick. When he comes back, we'll just start chatting with him. So, Jamie, until you come back, Do I think Wiltfong will flip his crystal ball? Yes, I do. If it's truly FSU, which I think it's FSU, I'll go out on record and say that. If I have to eat crow tomorrow, then I'll eat crow tomorrow. That's totally fine. I've been wrong before, and I'm going to be wrong again soon, I'm sure. But as of right now, I think it's FSU. I think that Wiltfong will get that information soon. I don't think Wiltfong likes to be wrong on recruitments. I think that Wiltfong likes to keep his percentage high. He is the national guy that 247 points to, and likes to broadcast that he is that guy and he's their top expert. I would be pretty shocked if Wiltfong goes into the 6 o'clock hour tomorrow, 30 minutes before KJ's supposed to announce on 3. We'll stream it here as well. I would be pretty shocked if Wiltfong does not flip his crystal ball. Now, the situation that I think could arise where he does not flip the crystal ball is if he just doesn't know, if he doesn't get that info late. I think that if he doesn't get that info, or if he thinks it's Georgia, he will double down on that prediction. I don't think Wiltfong is silent on this, is maybe the best way to say that. I don't think Wiltfong's silent for the next, what would it be, 24, 29 hours, 30 hours, 31 hours, if I could do math here for a minute. So I think he will either double down on the UGA prediction, and he'll say, nope, talk with sources, I think it's UGA. Or don't put out, Court has never donated once. She's not even a Patreon member right now. Get her out of here. Take the pink away in the chat. He will either double down on his prediction or he'll flip his crystal ball. I would be shocked if Wiltfong is silent on it. The big thing about Wiltfong is he has good sources. He has good info, but he does rely on his local guys a lot. He does rely on the folks that cover the local programs. And so you'll see people, you'll see a crystal ball come in from a local writer, and then Wiltfong will change based on that intel. And so I think you've seen Wiltfong say this, hey, some of his confidence, some of his sources are talking UGA. Some of Wiltfong's sources are talking Auburn. Some of Wiltfong's sources say it's Florida State. And so that may be a little bit why he's not so certain, because a lot of his local guys think different things. So, yeah, will Wiltfong change his crystal ball? He'll either change it or please send $100 to get Courtney out of the live. Y'all are mean. He'll either change it or he will double down on UGA. I don't think he'll be silent for the next day. Okay, did we get Jamie back? Anybody else want to join the show? You certainly can. The link is in the comments. It also may be in the description. I'm not sure. We can throw that in as well. We can throw it back in just so you guys can jump in if you'd like to. Let's give some love to Garden Gold, and then we'll talk about conference realignment. Any other questions you guys have? Any other topics you want to get to? Certainly happy to do that, to jump in there. Let's see. I had some questions in the Discord about the live. Just threw that over there so people could join. GardenGold.com. You shouldn't be shopping anywhere else for your FSU gear. Listen, I heard they got the shoes in today. Hopefully you're using the code NOSLAW, NOSLAW, to get 15% off of your order. Listen, they've already got the best customer service. They've got the quickest shipping. They've got the best prices. We'll save you another 15% if you use NOSLAW, NOSLAW, whether you want the jerseys, whether you want the shoes, the coaches' polos, whatever you're looking for. Listen, we are less than a month away from kickoff. Make sure that you get your order in immediately. GardenGold.com, NOSLAW. Listen, this is not an advertisement where you've got to go buy something immediately and you've got to go shop right now, or else no, you're buying FSU gear anyway. Make sure that you buy it from Garnet & Gold. Don't support other people. Fanatics is owned by Gators, so if you're supporting that, then, what are you even doing? I need a Jalen Ramsey soundbite that says, if you're not shopping at Garnet & Gold, what is you doing? Fanatics owned by Gators. I think Alumni Hall is owned by Texas fans. So yeah, you should be shopping, or maybe it's Tennessee. You should be shopping at Garden Gold though. So, all right, conference realignment. Yo, Court, relax. Conference realignment. I wish we had James, man. We had a caller, and then I talked too much, and James tapped out on us. So we'll see if he comes back. Jamie, if you're there, let us know. Conference realignment, where are we going? Listen, did you just see the update about private equity possibly being part of what we try and do here? I think that's interesting. I think that's something to keep an eye on. I have mixed thoughts. I have mixed feelings on that, but I do Jeff, my guy, I do think that the Noles have to explore whatever options they can, because they've got to get out of this crap conference. They must move on. And if taking Saudi money is the answer, like Live Golf, then that's what we got to do. I don't know that that's my favorite option. Obviously, I would love to challenge the grant of rights in court and win that and be out scot-free and not have to pay anything. But if that's not an option, you've got to explore every single option available. And Florida State's Board of Trustees chairman, Mr. Simmons, is a private equity guy. And I think that that's a pretty big part of what you're going to see here. The Noles are going to do anything they can to get out of this conference. Jamie, hey, do we have you, bud? Do we have Jamie? He's in here. Sound like the mic's peaking just a bit. I can back up from the mic just a little bit if that helps. Maybe if I'm not like right up on it, it'll be a little bit better. I could play with the inputs a little bit. I thought we had Jamie. Harlan, if you could chat with him, I'll turn the offstage feeds off and you can see if you can get him straightened out there. Do we prefer the Big Ten or the SEC? I think that, Brad, I think a lot of people would prefer the. Oh, I hear that. Yeah, I don't want to hear that. Sorry. I hear Jamie's mic coming through, but Jamie, I don't know if you can hear us or not. Harlan, if you let me know. I think that a lot of people would prefer the SEC just for regionality. A lot of people think that the rivalries would be better there, the games. I mean, you even look at playing some of the lower quality opponents in the SEC, like South Carolina would be a ton of fun. Going to the Grove would be a ton of fun. I think going to Kentucky would be fun. You know, Tennessee, going to Neyland Stadium, that'd be awesome. And then obviously your big dogs like Alabama, LSU, UGA, like all of that is, Auburn, Texas A&M. Oh, man, how much would you give to be able to go beat Jimbo's brains in the next couple of years? I might. This is not something I've thought about until just now. But I might start cheering for Texas A&M to do well because I don't want Jimbo to get fired because I want to play Texas A&M soon in the SEC. Harlan, is that crazy? I have not thought about that just yet. That I might have to start cheering for A&M. I need him to last until we get to the SEC. Like, I don't need them firing him and them going 4-8 this year and us not getting a chance. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Texas A&M coming back to Tallahassee? Oh, my goodness. Listen, I don't want them winning anything of importance, but, I mean, they haven't done that since before World War II, so I don't think that's a real big concern. I want them to – I might have to cheer for A&M. I'm definitely cheering for them when they go play Miami this weekend. Or, I'm sorry, this year. This weekend. Sheesh. Okay. So, yeah, I think SEC is preferred. Big Ten, though, a lot of money, a lot of options there. I said this last week, maybe on Sunday. If the Big Ten was able to get Florida State, Clemson, Oregon, and Notre Dame, the Big Ten would be better than the SEC. They would just be a better conference. I think that you look at Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, Florida State, Clemson, USC, against Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Oklahoma, Texas, Florida. I think the SEC is not as good. I think the Big Ten's better at that point. So, yeah, what do I prefer? Probably the SEC for a lot of reasons. I also think that the TV money, the TV deal of, Florida State's grant of rights being owned by ESPN, well, ESPN owns the SEC too. And so I think they could do some leveraging there. So we have to pay less money to get out. If we pay less money to get out, that's more of a return on our investment faster. If you Clemson and Florida State go to the SEC, oof, Zach, that's a good question. I'll answer that in a minute. If Florida State and Clemson go to the SEC then has 18 of the last 20 national champions. I think that's really strong. I think that you would immediately say, okay, well, the SEC is undoubtedly the best conference, and then Florida State, wherever Florida State goes, that's the best conference. Like, I think they're kind of neck and neck right now, SEC slight edge. Florida State goes to one or the other, that puts that conference over the top. So it doesn't really matter. Wherever Florida State goes, that's going to be the best conference. But yeah, for regionality, for a lot of reasons, I think I'd take the SEC right away. Anything's better than the ACC, though. What's more likely, we land KJ or win the ACC? I don't think y'all are going to like this answer. I think it's more likely that we land KJ. I really think the Noles have a great shot to win the ACC this year, but I would put that at 50%, 55%. I mean, Clemson's still got a really big chance to win it. I think landing KJ is probably closer to 75, 80%. So I'm high on both. I think Florida State has a great chance to win the ACC, but I do think it's more likely that we land KJ. It is a lose-lose. People are going to be upset either way. But I don't know. I really like the Noles this year, but I could absolutely see a situation where they beat Clemson early and then lose a rematch. That's not out of the question. That's not crazy. So I think, the James B. James had a big – James might want to take his spot back from Brad. We'll see. James got replaced there on the leaderboard. We'll see if he wants to jump back in or not. James was the hero the other day. But, yeah, I still think the Noles have a great chance to win the ACC. But it's not overwhelmingly above 50. Maybe you could say the Noles have a 60% chance to win. I think the Vegas odds would tell you that the Noles have a 53% chance to win it. So, I don't know. You beat Clemson early, that chance goes up a lot, but you're going to have to beat them again, I think. So, all right. What do we got next? What else do we want to talk about? Have I missed anything? Oh, P-Dub's son. We can talk about P-Dub's son a little bit. Hey, listen, I did a plug for Nathan. Hey, relax, bro. That's insider info. We're trying to get people to sign up over there. Sheesh. Tell Nathan relax a little bit. I mean, the poors don't get everything. Okay, we'll talk about P-Dub's son just a little bit. We shouted out Garnet Gold. We'll give us some love to Gramco as well, thegramco.com. Hey, we got some exciting stuff. I've been working all week. If you follow me on social media or in the Discord, been building a little bit of a studio out there. Gramco's kind of helping out with that a little bit. We'll give you more info on that soon, but they are doing a huge gummy push. Listen, we always shout out the Delta 8 gummies, but they've got some Delta 9 gummies. I know some of you guys that are avid enjoyers of the of the product know about the Delta 8 versus Delta 9. They've got some Delta 9 gummies. Those are the big boys. That's the real stuff. If you've tried their Delta 8 stuff before, maybe it's time to graduate into the Delta 9. Maybe not. They've got some CBD stuff if you need something a little lower than the Delta 8, but they're doing a big gummy push right now. Go grab some Delta 8. Go grab some Gramco, thegramco.com, TJ25. If you don't want a super chat, you don't want a Venmo, you don't want a PayPal, you don't shop at Garnet and Go, all those things, go do something for yourself. Get you some Gramco. Support the people that support the show. Thegramco.com, TJ25 for 25% off. Okay, we want to talk about P-Dub's son just a little bit. I think it's really cool. I think it's awesome that Florida State took him as a walk-on. Peter Warwick is probably, it's probably Peter Warwick and Deion Sanders that are the most, Brad's calling his shot. Brad's telling James to step up a little bit. Brad's daring James to take that spot just so that he can take it back. Yeah, I like that, Nathan. Go get $50 to Battles In. I like that. We got some news coming with the battles in too soon, but James, Brad's calling his shot and seeing if you want to go to war or not, but we'll see what he thinks. Yeah, I think P-Dub. Okay, I'm gonna say this, and I don't get upset at me on this because I know how you guys feel about him today. But I think outside of Deion Sanders, P-Dub's probably the most physically gifted athlete, or you say Florida State football player in history. Oh, James says you don't want the smoke. James going to beat Brad out? We'll see, James. James is talking a little bit of a big game here. We'll see, Brad. Woo. Yeah, I think P-Dub's probably the most physically gifted athlete in Florida State football history outside of Deion Sanders. Like, I'll still say Deion's like the biggest freak of all time. Athletically, like how I'd preface that. But I think that P-Dub's second. And that might not even be true. It might actually be P-Dub, but it's hard to put anybody over Deion just because he was so ridiculously physically gifted. But yeah, I think that what P-Dub did and him coming back for that last year and getting that national championship, Joey, relax. What P-Dub did coming back for that last national championship, being the heart. I mean, I love Winky, and I think Winky's, if you can have an underrated Heisman in your program's history, like it is Winky. Everyone talks about Ward and, Winston, but Chris Winky was amazing. Oh, he was older. So what? He was great. So, but I think Peter Warrick, man, like, anyway. So I'll shut up and stop rambling about P-Dub. But for them to give his son a spot as a walk-on, I'd love for him to be able to work his way up into a scholarship as well. I think that there are other ways of taking care of players at this juncture that, I'd love to see the Battles In sign him, and I think that they probably have some other ways that they can take care of walk-on players and stuff. Oh boy, James with the big one.
Fire up the war chant and plant the spear. Noles win. Touchdown, Florida State. Touchdown, FSU.
Might as well just do one more for him.
Put a smile on your face. Okay? Because Florida State, if we gonna do it then, we do it big then. Let's go, baby.
So, look, we might get Mike. Harlan, I don't know if you ever heard from Jamie or not, but we can get Mike on here in just a second. We can chat with Mike for a little bit on conference realignment. But, yeah, he loves the slaw. Bro, who gets the slaw? If you love slaw and you donate like that, you just, you're the guy. All right, so get James B up on the leaderboard. He's our winner for right now. Let's yeah, so anyway, I love P-Dub. Love that they Dunkin's better than Starbucks. Sorry about that. Love that they got his son there. I saw P-Dub at practice yesterday. Thought that was cool. Oh, fall camp starting. We haven't even talked about fall camp. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's get Mike on here. Oh, Mike's switching to his computer. So he's waiting a minute too. Did we ever get Jamie? Oh, we can get Mike. It's audio only. So just jump in. Let's jump Mike in, Harlan, if you're ready. See if Brad or Roy Brad or anything's got a little fight back in him or not. But shout out to James. James, you're a real one today. Somebody's a little bit of a call-in show, a little something different that we're doing today. But you want to talk a little bit about conference realignment. Tell me your thoughts on what's going on here.
Well, I just it's mostly for our haters that have been harassing us these last days to kind of not put them in their place, but just explain, because you keep hearing the whole, FSU hasn't even won lately. Like, how can they be claiming these types of things? And I think people just don't understand conference realignment. Like, if you go back to before the 90s, right? You had the Big Eight, you had the Southwest Conference, right? SEC, Pac 10, ACC, Big 10. But the key there is that you had Notre Dame, Florida State, Penn State, Miami, Pitt, Syracuse, Temple, Virginia Tech were all independents. And the first big conference move and realignment that people never talk about is in 1990 when Penn State said they were going to go to the Big Ten, even though they didn't move till 92. That caused a ripple that I think put us into this first stage. Because immediately after that, you had 1991, Miami joined and formed the Big East, right, with the original members of Miami, Syracuse, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, Boston College, etc. Florida State joined the ACC. So it was now Florida State, Clemson, Georgia Tech, Miami, North Carolina, the originals. But South Carolina left the ACC for the SEC. And at that point, you were also entering the bowl era of the 90s, right? The pre-BCS where they did their alliances. So you basically had the Big Six conferences. There was a Big Six. Then in the 2004 expansion is when things really started to change because the reason this is important, the Big East got devoured, right? We're seeing that now. The ACC went into the Big East and took Miami, Virginia Tech, Boston College, right? And then the Big East was left as Louisville, West Virginia, Cincinnati, Pitt, UConn, Syracuse, Rutgers. And we still considered them a Big Six conference, right? The winner of that conference always went to a BCS bowl. And West Virginia had some good years. Louisville had that one good year. But eventually it got to the point where the team coming out of there would barely be ranked, if at all, and they would go get slammed by whoever they played, Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And if you go back before that, go before the 90s, remember, there was the Southwest Conference. They got raided by the Big Eight to create the Big 12. And the reason this all started happening was because TV contracts in that 80s time, or it might have been the 70s when they did that whole deal that changed everything, right? And you go back to 2007, 8, right? That was kind of my glory time. We had, it was the Big Six because we still sort of respected the Big East back then. But it was once they got devoured, right, and became the American, the 2011 expansion brought us into the real Power Five, right? We all know those moves: A&M, Missouri to SEC, Nebraska to Big Ten. But you still had your kind of traditional Power Five conferences. But then TV revenue really started to play games. So you go back to this time period, what made you a college football power was basically if you decided to be a badass blue blood or not, right? Your conference alignment really had nothing to do with your chances to be successful or not be successful once we got into that, mid 90s, because you can look at, and there were some differences in revenue on those TV deals the conferences were getting, but it wasn't drastic,
Let
right?
me let me ask you this. So why are people upset now, in your opinion?
I think now what's happening is there's just so much anger around the sport because the modern era, right? The people my age, we got so used to this Power Five thing. For our 20, 30-year window, it kind of became normal. And those are all our traditions. And I'm one of those people. I love that the Pac-12 exists and those games and all that. I love the spread out. I love the original Big Six, like the 2004 merger and on, before Miami and them even came to ACC. I loved those six conferences. We had our bowl ties. But money started to become a thing, right? The Big East fell apart because they lost their brands and you had the established ones. Well, now no one ever saw a future, I think, where there could be a gap between these Power Five that would be so big that it would actually start to not call them the Power Five. But that's
So
exactly what's happening. And
where you know
people
all
blame Big 12. Sorry, go.
no, I'm I gotta ask you this because I didn't realize what time it was. I'll grab you here. What you are certainly aware of and involved with the history here. Where do you think? Where do you see it going? Where do you think Florida State ends up? What happens?
I think that what Florida State announced in that meeting was basically we are leaving. And I think it was kind of them saying, we'll even pay if we have to pay $400 million, the world's craziest exit fee that would ever exist if that happens, We will do that option because we are leaving. Now, of course, they don't want to do that option, so they're going to hold out maybe even a whole nother year to see if they can get the conference dissolved, right? I think it's worth waiting a year or two to see if that turmoil can happen, right? But I think they're willing to make the move no matter what. So they'll give it another year or two to see if dissolves can happen or what's happening out west. What's the Big Ten doing? It's very interesting that the Big Ten was, for like a minute, they're going to go grab Oregon, Washington, and go grab maybe even Cal and Stanford. And then the minute all of our stuff starts going on, they want to back off because, let's be honest, the most
Bigger fish to
valuable
fry.
remaining commodities are in the ACC. It is
Yeah.
a crap conference, but there's 3 to 4 brands in there that anybody would love in their conference. So the problem for those other conferences is it's been looking like there's no way you're going to be able to get access to them until 2036. So that's why they've left Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina off the table. Florida State and Clemson might have gone before Texas and Oklahoma if it was allowed, you know. But we've just been stuck in our thing. So I
Yeah.
hope long term we end up in the SEC. It would kind of suck if the politics of it all made it be the Big Ten, because I think that's the other thing people are most frustrated with. They're like, why can't, if we're going to this Power 2 eventually, why can't we just skip there? Why do we have to have all the awkward in between years before we get back to whatever becomes the new normal? And going into this next 2024, we have a 12-team playoff. It'd be really nice if we could consolidate into whatever the future is with conferences by then too. You know,
Yeah.
give us a Power 2 and everything else, right? The Big 12 is not a power conference. As soon as Texas and Oklahoma left, they did not get to claim that title anymore because once those 2 teams left, the rosters in the Big 12 had roughly the same average of talent as the rosters in the American, which was clearly not a power conference. Once
Yeah.
USC and
Who's
UCLA left, same thing to the Pac-12. They were already dead. I hate hearing people today, is the Pac-12 going to survive? It already died. As soon as USC left, it died as a power conference. It might
yeah, when
exist, but
the Big 12 was barely one with Texas and Oklahoma there anyway.
exactly.
It was worse than the ACC there anyway. But yeah, I'm in agreement there. Like the Big 12, who's the best team left in the Big 12? Oklahoma State, TCU.
I mean, brand-wise, yeah, maybe Oklahoma State, but
But I don't.
there's
Or maybe.
Bud Elliott said it best, right? He's like, there's 18 to 20 teams that actually try and are capable of winning national championships. And there's really no sense in having all of them in a league with teams that don't care. Like, I don't understand when I see Oregon State fans saying, we're getting screwed. It's like, what are you talking about? I
Yeah,
think the best thing that could happen to that level of football is if they had their own second division and you
right.
had the Kansas States and West Virginias and Oregon States. I would watch those playoffs in that championship.
Sure.
Oregon State, those schools were never having a chance to compete for this anyway. So I don't
Nobody wants to
understand the
see
sentiment that they're
nobody
losing out.
nobody wants to see Wake Forest in their absolutely amazing best year ever going 12-1 and playing Alabama, right? But I'd love to see a Wake Forest 12-1 against an Oregon State 12-1. Why not? That'd be fun. It's almost if you're not willing to play football with the big boys, like UNC doesn't put anything in it. I put a video out this morning. UNC's athletic director is an idiot. They don't put any money into their football program. They have a freaking corpse roaming the sidelines in Mac Brown. They're going to squander Drake May just like they did whoever the last guy was, Howell committed to us.
Yeah.
They don't care about football. They care about hoops. They don't invest in football, right? Syracuse isn't spending money on football. Boston College isn't spending money on football. So yeah, there should almost be a second division. All right, Mike,
And that's going to be a new requirement, I think.
Yeah,
I think
almost
when
like
the
a salary.
PCU
Like
is finally established to
yeah, like
stay in this league, 60% of this TV revenue we give you must be reinvested back into the athletic department. And
into
of
football,
that, over
right?
half has to be into football, basketball. And if you're
Yeah,
not doing that, Purdue or some school that is like, what, Vanderbilt, well, we're really rich, but we've just given money to health departments. And well, then you're out.
yeah. See ya.
And
Yeah,
some
it's almost like
schools
the
in the Big 12
NFL how
that have been
they have a
fine won't get
salary.
players.
The NFL has a salary cap floor. It's the same idea there, right? Like you can't, the MLB, you can spend whatever you want, as much or as little, but in the NFL, you have to spend a certain amount. You can't spend $4 million on your salary and just keep all the money. So anyway, all right, Mike, I got to go. I got to run. See you in Orlando.
Oh yeah, man, definitely. My
All right.
family will be there, so you're gonna meet my dad and mom finally.
Heck yeah, bring them on.
All right. Thanks,
See you
man.
soon, buddy. My guy, Mike Kirkering. Appreciate you for calling in, my guy. We got about 10 minutes left. What else you guys got? Let's I don't know if we ever got Jamie on or not. Jamie, if you could jump in, if you want to jump in, we'll take your call real quick. Mike breaking down the history of what you guys didn't even know. 48 teams in the Big Two. So we'd have 2 24-team conferences. I don't hate that. I like that's a good idea. James B, still our top donator. We'll see if Brad, was just talking a big game earlier or if he actually has the stones to take the lead back. Okay, on Miami, that's a good question. Do I think Miami gets out? Listen, I know that we like to joke on Miami. I know that we like to give them a hard time and make fun of them. But Miami has a good brand, right? And Miami does, probably not as much as us, Miami does actually care about their athletics. They're, again, I'm not trying to go pro Miami here, but I'm just going to be real with you guys. We need 8 teams to get out of this freaking conference. Okay? And as much as I want to leave Miami behind, if we get 8 teams to break this crap up, then the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? Like I don't like Miami, and I'd love to see them rot, but not at the expense of us having to stay here. You need 8 teams that have realistic landing spots. And Miami has a good brand, right? Now they're a shell of their former self, but they have a good brand. And they're 3rd in the ACC for a reason. Florida State and Clemson bring in 2/3 of the revenue. I get that. But my arm looked long there. I almost looked like Court. Florida State and Clemson bring in 2/3 of the revenue. I get that. But Miami has a brand that is valuable. Miami's not a bigger brand than Florida State. If you look at just how many people watch Miami as compared to Florida State, Clemson, it's not even close. I know they think they have a big brand, but they don't. It's really not close at all. I wish I had that tweet pulled up. I don't have it right in front of me, but I wish I had that just so I could shut Ty up. But anyway, you need Miami to get out. And yeah, would we love them to just suffer in mediocrity forever? Sure. But I think getting them out of the conference helps us get out as well. Now that said, if Miami's AD and Clemson's AD, and we all know that UNC's AD, don't have any stones because they're letting Alford fall on the sword for everything. But if their ADs had any stones to step up and take some charge on this stuff too, we might be able to do it with them. But again, we might be doing this on our own because Miami's AD and Clemson's AD and certainly UNC's AD don't seem to be accepting the challenge. Boy, I wish I had that tweet right now. I don't have it right in front of me, and I don't want to spend live broadcast time like looking for it. But man, somebody had a really good tweet earlier. I can't remember if I shared it or not, but it had a lot of the the facts and info on just kind of like how TV viewership in the ACC. I'll search real quick, but TV viewership ACC and see if I can find that or not. But man, that was a good tweet, and I'd love to throw that up on the screen. You know what? You guys will just have to bear with me while I look for it because it was really good. Showing tweets with images. Throw this back. Here we go. All right. I've got this now. Let's throw this up on the screen. Boy, Brad talked a big game and then didn't come to the rescue at all. So let's just throw this in. Listen, this is going to look terrible, but if you've stuck around for 50 minutes of listening to me talk, actually no, Harlan, I'll throw it up on the screen. You can make it look, or you can. I'll throw it in the files. You can make it look good. It's the most recent picture there. You can make it a full screen pic if that's easiest. Actually, that probably is easiest. Here, I can Yeah, you can do that. All right. TV viewership rankings in the ACC. This is from, when is this? I believe this is from 2014 on. Yeah, 2014 to 2022. You want to know who's had 4 losing seasons in that stretch? Florida State. You want to know who's won 2 national championships in that stretch? Clemson. Florida State's viewership dominates the rest of the conference. Look at UNC's down there. Their athletic director acting like a complete idiot. But Florida State has dominated the viewership in the ACC. And you tell me about Miami's brand being worldwide? Miami's brand is barely better than Louisville's over the last 8 years. And so, yeah, don't talk to me about Miami's brand being worldwide. Florida State's been largely trash for the last 8 years. 2014, 2015, they had some good years. 2016 was a good year. Last year was a good year. Outside of that, Florida State's been dog crap. Missing bowls, rescheduling Alabama State to make a bowl in 27. Florida State's not been good. 3 coaches during that span. One of them being one of the worst we've ever seen in the Power 5. And Florida State's still beating Clemson, who had 2 national championships. Think about that. The team in first at $3.17 million per game literally has 4 losing seasons. The team in second has 2 national championships. Don't talk to me about whose brand is bigger, where Miami sits, where this team sits. Florida State is the brand. Florida State is the team that turned this into a football conference. UNC, people don't even care about UNC's football. Like, UNC fans don't even care about UNC football. I posted a video this morning ragging on their athletic director. And there aren't even any UNC fans to be upset about that. They're like, yeah, we're good. We're good with basketball. Like, yeah, you talk crap about our football team. We don't care. UNC is going to fall behind because their athletic director is a joke. All time. So the argument is that Miami may be a bigger brand. Roy just took it back. Brad took the lead back. We'll get to Brad in just a second. The argument is that Miami is a bigger brand all time. Maybe they are. I don't think that winning more championships makes you a bigger brand. But if that's your argument, if your argument is like, hey, go back to the 80s and we were a bigger brand then, maybe you can have that argument. I'll say this. From 1990 on, from when I it's hard for me to argue stuff that before I was born. So if you think that, especially in the 80s when a lot less people watched college football, Miami was a bigger brand than Florida State in the 80s. That's I would agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that. But so many more people watch college football today than they did back then. So if you really looked at like a fan by fan analysis, no, more people are aware of the Florida State brand right now than they were in Miami in the 80s. But I will give you that. Like, if you want to say that all time Miami was a bigger brand in the 80s, blah, 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 that's fine. I was born in 1990, so I'm young. You guys will probably cuss me out for that. Miami was a big brand then. Brad takes the lead back. We'll get you a super chat in a minute. But I have a hard time arguing things that were before I was born. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that from 1990 until today, Florida State's a bigger brand than Miami. And it's not close. Now, if you want to say that Miami was a bigger brand in the 80s, before I was alive, before I was born, 4 decades ago, that's fine. I guess that's a good argument if that's the angle you want to go with. But if you've got to wipe dust off of championship rings to argue that Miami's a bigger brand, I don't know. I'm not buying that as much. Listen, I will tell you this. I do appreciate Ty and the Miami fans that do have respect for Alford and what he's doing. I know Miami and Clemson fans wish that their AD was doing the same. I know that listen, we can talk crap about 4 decades ago. We can talk crap about Florida State building this conference, Clemson building this conference, whatever. we are united on getting out of here. So I will end with that. I'll crap on Miami for, not being relevant for 4 decades, but at least we are all on board with that. Hey, let's get Brad 3 or 4 super chat noises. That gives James one more chance to take the lead back.
Smile on your face. Okay? Because Florida State, if we going to do it then, we do it big then. Let's go, baby.
Fire up the war chant and plant the spear. Noles win. Noles win.
Brad takes the lead back. He might be our winner today. We'll give James a minute to see if he claps back or not, or if Brad just is going to put this thing out of reach. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We are going to go live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Listen, if you're a Clemson fan, if you're a Miami fan, if you're a fan of any team that's interested in this conference realignment stuff, listen, I'm not trying to toot our horn too much. I don't think I'm the best recruiting insider. I don't think that I have the best depth chart out. We've done really well with conference realignment. I will absolutely pat myself on the back. Harlan, I don't know if there's like a automated noise that can do like the clapping or whatever. I think we do a really good job with conference realignment. And a lot of the stuff that's coming out now is stuff that we predicted would happen 3, 4, 5 months ago. If you go to our conference realignment playlist, if you've not watched any of that, we predicted a ton of this. And we have hit on way more than we've missed. That's hilarious. All right. That's enough. We've hit on a lot of stuff. So if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. We've got really, really big goals for this season. We're going to try and continue to grow this. We're going to continue going live on Fridays at 11 a.m. Hopefully this time works for a lot of you guys. If it doesn't, we will go live Sundays. I think we're going to start doing Sundays at 6 p.m. We did that last week and had a lot of success with it, had a lot of good luck with it. We've got some surprises coming for you guys this weekend. Starting off with tomorrow night, I feel really good about KJ Bolden. We will go live at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night to watch Florida State's bid for KJ Bolden and see how that goes. We will live watch it. So go check us out. Make sure that you're subscribed and you don't miss that tomorrow night. We will be partying. We will enjoy that if things go like I think they do. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I think you guys are the best, except for you Miami fans. You guys are second best for sure. All right, we will talk to you soon. Is this an ongoing? Okay, James wants to know, is this an ongoing competition? I think the competition resets each show, James. Like it carries over, but it's a new challenge every time. I couldn't add it all up from week after week after week. So, James, you were, but I don't know if anybody's competing with Brad and James though. So the ongoing competition might just be you two. It sounds like Brad wins this week. We'll see what James has got in his pocket for next week. Unless James, we'll go for one more minute and see if James wants to jump in and see what it's got. Okay, yeah, last shout out to the Discord. Listen, 250, 200, 300 people in here today. If you're not part of the Discord, you need to go join that. That is, it's just for today. There's not a running tally. It's just a one-time, like it resets every show is basically what I'm trying to answer. Listen, if you're not part of our Discord, you need to go join that. All of the insight and everything that we share in here, we're able to do that on a daily basis. Go check us out over at the Discord. It's good stuff. Ty, hit me up on Twitter. We'll try and set something up. Not answering that, Nate. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the Venmos, PayPal, all that stuff. Yeah, Brad and James probably going to go broke after their competition. Love you guys. Thank you for hanging out. We will talk to you soon. Go Noles.